All right, we are live. Good morning, Dave. How's it going?
Hey, Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Um, I was just gonna say Jeremy. Jimmy is out. Jimmy's out for today, and I kind of have to leave a little bit early. So we're gonna pack a ton of stuff into 45 minutes. But you had shared. Let's go right into a post that you had shared because we were going to talk about marketing. We were going to talk about recruiting. Let's start with the recruiting topic. I brought it in, so I'm going to put it up here, the Facebook post. So this is an anonymous post from the Uncaged Clinicians group, and it just says, I'm struggling to get patients. I feel like I've tried everything. I've advertised, marketed, sponsored events, bought dinners for doctors. Spoke with every gym in the county, talked to chiropractors, massage therapists, etc. I have no idea what to do anymore. So let's take it from there. What was your initial kind of gut response to that?
My initial response actually, I think usually I would jump into the marketing stuff. My initial response was now updated because of the Dr. Jeff Moore interview that I just had him on my show recently, and certain things I think you and but I definitely myself. I don't want to speak for you too much, but I think there's a lot of things that are just table stakes. Like, for example, clinical skills. You have to be able to get results. All of this is like you're jumping to marketing, which is like the second or third step of like, is my offering valuable? Am I worth it? Am I worthy of Tony's cold hard cash and dollars, like hard earned money? Am I worth it if I was in Ohio and I'm charging some like Tony Maritato out of pocket or whatever this business model is for this practice? So clinical chops, clinical skills, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be likable. All of those things are, and in my opinion, if you even think you're going to go in a private practice, those things are table stakes. Now, if you don't have those things, you go to ICE, you go to Jeff Moore, you go to, I don't know, MedBridge, you go wherever, you go to in-person Con Ed. Then if you have those things, then we can talk about all the great comments on that post because everyone gave great comments and great ideas and tips for marketing, and all those things work. And even all those things work in the original post. So when I read all that, I think maybe we're missing something. This is an anonymous post. We don't know who this is. So that's my table stakes. Like the clinical skills, communicator, likable. What's your initial thoughts before you comment on what I said? What are your initial thoughts on the post when you read it?
So I guess I looked at that and I thought it's all the stuff you think you're supposed to do, but it doesn't really tell me anything about, the next layer of these things. So for example, I'm going to look at it. Let me pull it up here one more time. It's like the person that says, well, I work out every day. Well, what are you doing? Are you doing rubber band and you're like 20 years old, or are you like actually what we would consider working out? Are you giving it appropriate dosing, proper stimulus? So when we look at this, it says, I've advertised. So what does that mean? Does that mean you paid for a newspaper ad and you said the name of your clinic and your address, or that you're a mobile, like advertising can mean a lot of things to different people. Sponsored events. I think we shared on here, somebody had a picture of like two physical therapy booths side by side. One might have been IV rehab and somebody else. And like one booth was empty and one booth was crowded. So all of it means so much different stuff. So we need more context. Talk to chiropractors, massage therapists. Most of the time, like I built my business, quote, talking to doctors, bringing lunch into the doctor's offices. But when I did that, I did it with purpose, with intention, and I was building relationships with that, and so I know a lot of people. I mean, my 16-year-old just went to a school dance. I'm pretty sure he just sat in a chair in the corner on his phone and probably didn't engage, didn't dance, didn't go out there and do stuff. But he said, I went to the dance, So again, these are all very different experiences. So my first thought was, this person might need deeper levels of like exploration into any of those individual topics. I feel like you hit a bunch of things, but maybe you didn't go deep into any of those things. And so you didn't get a result. And now you're like, oh, marketing doesn't work, advertising doesn't work, physical therapy doesn't work, right? We hear that kind of stuff all the time. Off the top of your head, I'm going to see if I can pull it up. What were some of the comments that people made that you said you thought were good comments?
There was one comment. It was to not verbatim. I can't remember, but there was a comment something like, "All of those things can work, but you're spread too thin, and you need to fish a mile deep instead of fishing in an inch deep and a mile wide." Like kind of going, more narrow in like one area, like you said. Really explore it. Really follow up with it. Let's see. I'm gonna make this full screen because now you're sharing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a ton of comments. How long have you been in business? I love I love this one. I hate to be negative here, but here's the reality. So I'm reading a comment from Marek Damon. Kind of hard for people to justify going to a PT clinic when the cost of living is so high these days, and copay per visit is averaging around $50 2 to 3 times a week. That's someone's grocery bill. If you're going cash based, forget about it. I'll take my stable sniff job any day of the week right now. It certainly feels like people are either thriving or struggling, no in between. I'm sarcastically saying I don't know if I'm not saying I love or hate this, but I mean, we're thriving. I know, we're in New York City. It's a different market or whatever. But here's a side thing that for me, Tony,
Yeah.
I had other projects before. I had other companies before. I had Vinicial. I was, I think you were using it. I had other practices using it. There were software bugs. I had to save face. I had to tell everyone, hey, it's failing. It's not doing well. My software developer in Switzerland can't fix his own software bugs. And we're pausing everyone's payments because I want to save face. And that was brutal. Basically, like the whole company and the whole app that I had failed, right? So I have scar tissue from failures. Yeah, there's the thing. This comment, you may be spreading yourself too thin. This is from Abram Arwood. You may be spreading yourself too thin. Focus on one area and stay there. This is, again, for the original post. If you can take 2 to 6 months for people to accept you, to accept you on their own and trust you, fish deep, not wide. So I like that. That got a bunch of likes and support. Again, my feelings on these anonymous posts. It's like if you posted this on a Facebook group as your name, you're going to get people DMing you and reaching out and saying like, hey, I feel like I'm in the same position. Like maybe we can have a Zoom weekly chat about like how to improve this, like for both of our practices. And maybe you get someone else reaching out that's like a couple years ahead of you and like, hey, I used to be there and I did this, and maybe they're going to be a free mentor or a paid coach or whatever. The original post person will get no added benefit online by posting this anonymously. It makes no sense to post this anonymously.
I think it's just one of those things. You just want to get it off your mind, and it's weighing heavy on you. And this one, none of these things you mentioned worked for me. I also refused to buy lunches because it rarely turns into anything. Have you talked directly with the people you want to see? What's your target audience? I just think the whole idea of refusing to buy lunches for the target demographic, the target audience, the person who's going to see 50, 60, 70 people a day who are your ideal client, the person who all they have to do, this individual just has to say, go to Dave Kittle. And the patient will do what this person says because it's one of the most trusted individuals in that person's circle of influence. I just think that to me signals, there's other baggage going on here that they refuse to do marketing to physicians. If it truly is because it isn't working for you, maybe it's a problem on your end because it's working for a heck of a lot of other people, including ATI, Atletico, NovaCare. It's just one of those things. And hey, I'm guilty of it. There are things that I, quote, refuse to do in my business, even though I know it's the right thing to do, simply because it goes maybe against my personal biases and my crazy ideas, so.
Yeah, but you have more options because you're way more established, right? So you have more options and choices to do some of those things. someone that's this early in practice and saying like, they're refusing this or that, they haven't had enough no's or rejection to even, in my opinion, I don't know for sure
Yeah.
because again, I'm not in this post, but like, come on, how many lunches or how many physician marketing meetings have you had? Like, come
Right.
on, like and that's a numbers game. Would you agree that that's a numbers game? Like when you were starting your first couple years in practice and meeting
Yes.
physicians and bringing lunches and all that, like it's like the way I spend money on Google ads. Like, the winners are going to cover up the losers. Even if you invest a couple $1,000 now with physician lunches, you get one physician to then become like your favorite raving fan and send you, like you said, dozens of patients in the near future. You're going to make up all that money and some and way more.
I like this one the best, and I agree with this. Focus on one area, stay there. It can take 2 to 6 months for people to accept you. And it's true. Like, and I always try to say, like, reverse engineer your own buying decisions. How did you decide to buy the car that you drive, the house that you live in, the shirt that you're wearing? Like, you can go up market, down market. You could go expensive. You can go cheap. Um, if you start to understand, 20 years ago when I started the business, it was all about understanding your target market, your ideal client. Don't make your own buying decisions influence your target market's buying decisions. But now I'm 49. I'm 20 years older. My target market is me. I want a clinic full of Tony Maritatos out there who think like me, act like me, make decisions like me. So that is my target demographic. Bo, I'm sure Bo, like, he's working with people like him. So I would say give it time. Let's go deep. Everybody's kind of consistently saying that. And there's probably lessons you need to learn. But the other part of this is probably undercapitalized marketing. Like Scott saying, marketing is the first thing to do in tough times. I totally agree. But you don't have money, you have time. If you don't have time, you have money. Like, you got to decide which one of these assets you're going to invest, and you need to get out there and just go deep, 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 deep. I've never met a physician that wasn't a human, that didn't empathize and understand, and was happy to tell me about his or her frustrations and their problems and their annoyances. They didn't want to hear about me trying to get them to send me patients because I'm the best therapist in Middletown, Ohio. They didn't want anything to do with that. They wanted to tell me how hard their life is, how frustrating it is to be a physician in 2024, and empathize with what they're dealing with.
And Dr. Bo checking in live here from Colorado. He's saying that he accepts all humans. He's saying good morning. Dr. Bo, thanks for commenting live. Scott Embry, thanks for commenting live and being here, and everyone else that's live. Another thing I mentioned on the show before, Tony, is like this is a business. This is not just like a therapy practice or a therapy, side hustle or whatever. A business takes like a serious focus. Like, in my opinion, you got to be obsessed. So like, take out a spreadsheet, track your prospective patients from last month. So in November or October, write every name, phone number, email, different columns, track them, and then make them, red if they are like, I want in-network only, or they don't convert, and yellow is like you're still following up with them, and highlight it green if they convert to an initial evaluation or a plan of care. Focus on whatever that number is in October, November. Maybe it's 5 or 10 prospective patients, whatever it is, even if it's small. And every month you want to have more prospective patients in your world. So it's potential people that want to work with you, that want to have therapy, wellness, whatever your services are. And every month after that, focus on having more prospective patients on that Excel spreadsheet. Then, assuming that you're good and you can communicate and you have the clinical chops and the clinical skills and all that, then over time, you're going to have also a better conversion rate of the larger number of those prospective patients. That's an easy way to grow in the first like couple years of business. But this is business. This is not just like healthcare and physical therapy. Like, you are trying to exchange money for, a service that you deem to be valuable. It takes obsession. It takes a lot of focus and effort. This is not something like you can kind of dabble in and then you go on Facebook groups and say like, hey, like, this stuff doesn't work, and what's going on, and this and that, and what type of free coaching advice can you give me? Like, it takes an obsession, in my opinion.
Scott, riches are in the niches. Totally agree. Obsession is an interesting perspective because I always talk about this. I'm like, I've never done anything successfully that didn't become an obsession for me. We tend to look at that in a negative light a lot of ways. We're like, oh, work-life balance, and we need all of these things. But at the same time, success comes with that like push beyond the norm, whether we're talking athletics, whether, I've got a client right now that I'm working with. This individual is moving into ultra marathons. There is nothing about an ultra marathon that is healthy. Like everything destroys your body. We look at, we watched the Bengals play last night and pull it out in the last couple of minutes. Like NFL football players, like they're destroying their heads, they're destroying their bodies. Everything at that level of performance is about balancing how much damage you can take with achieving the success that you want. And I think it's the same in business. It's like, how I personally am not willing to go down that road of, I want time with my kids. I want time with my family, but I'm also not going to complain that I don't have $10 million in my bank account. And I'm also not saying that that person's complaining. They're asking for help, but other people. So we do need to understand, yes, I am obsessively driven to how do I improve the performance of my business? How do I introduce new models and new programs? Before we got on the call today, I was on ChatGPT looking at perspectives on franchise models versus licensing models. And one of the things that I was comparing was, okay, physical is a franchise within physical therapy. CrossFit is a licensing model. We see CrossFit just explode, tenfold, 100-fold beyond what physical could ever do. But I'm obsessed with looking and learning that stuff and experimenting and bringing it into my business to see how business is. I'm going to go treat patients today, but that's the side gig. Like that's the hobby. That's the fun thing to do. I'll go see a couple patients. Doesn't take much motivation and brain space for me to do that. I think that we need to understand when we're moving this way, if patient care is your top priority, and that's amazing. We need therapists like that. I want to hear about your talk with Mr. Dr. Moore, but if patient care is your top priority, you might not be the best person to go into business. Go find somebody who has a successful business and framework who can support you, and you become the therapist who's solely focused on therapy. Burrow is the Bengals quarterback. He's, I'm sure, obsessed with being the best quarterback he can be. Maybe he's not the best person to buy an NFL football team. Maybe he's not the best person to manage the team. Maybe he's not the best person to be a head coach. Just let him be the quarterback and pay him what he needs to do that obsessively.
All right. So originally, when I was saying you got to be obsessive, and I know I mentioned this on other episodes, you didn't give me any. You gave me no poker. You gave me poker face. I didn't know what your response is. But then you said, so you kind of agree. You agree that you have to be focused on this. Okay. So I think we hammered that enough. Do you want to? You want me to talk about
Jeff Moore's interview? And guys, if you haven't seen Dave Kittle's interview for Jeff Moore, go to the Dave Kittle Show. Watch the interview. It's an awesome interview. I have followed Dave Moore, Zach Long. I've followed the growth of Onward Physical Therapy. They would be a great example. Now, I don't know, are they a licensing model or a franchise model? But they were a great example of building a framework to plug in a therapist who just wants to be an amazing therapist.
Yeah, I don't know the whole thing, the split between like how much the therapist owns for a new location versus HQ, Onward HQ, and what Jeff and the executives own. But yeah, I think it's some type of revenue share or co-ownership or whatever. So I mean, Jeff Moore, I'm not sure if I knew you at that point. Maybe I did know you, but Jeff Moore used to go live on Periscope, which was like a live video app on Twitter. This was like, I don't know, 2015 or 16 or 17 or something. He said he did it every day, Monday through Friday, for like 4 or 5 years. So I'm on the East Coast. He was Central Time he was in Michigan. So he would do it at 6 a.m. Central Time. It was 7 a.m. here on the West Coast for whatever reason. I would tune in often. I mentioned it in the interview, like That's how I met him. His energy at 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. and that whole window for like an hour, insane, like positive, insane energy. It sounded like it was, it was 12 noon or something. Like he'd be drinking coffee and talking about physical therapy and business and manual therapy and techniques and clinical education and DPTs and patients and CrossFit. And I think that was even before he was into CrossFit. So that was when he said he would be proud that he got patients better in, 4 to 6 visits, and then he discharged them to never see them again. Really fascinating stuff, but he just brought his normal energy. I knew he would. And Will Boyd said, Jeff Moore wakes up. Oh, we both shared it at the same time. Jeff Moore wakes up on 10 out of 10 energy and falls asleep on 10 out of 10 energy. Exactly. Absolutely. Will, thank you very much for checking it out and for commenting live here. So, I mean, I don't know. What else do you want to ask me, or what else do you want to know? I mean, I've known him for years, just like you, and it was awesome to speak with. That was actually the first time we've chatted. He and I had never had a Zoom call or a phone call before.
The thing that was so interesting, and you already mentioned it, he came in saying he remembered, well, first, clearly that was obsession. Like, you have to be obsessive to get on there every day, especially when in the beginning nobody's watching, nobody's listening, and then a couple people kind of sprinkle in. He's not getting paid to do that. He really has no benefit of doing that. The benefit came later. But then the other thing is the change in his perspective, going from, I used to feel proud to get somebody discharged, meet their outcomes in 4 visits instead of 24 visits. And I've gone on that roller coaster. I remember being an early therapist, going to continuing education, like when we were live in person. I remember this one was specifically from TheraBand. They had a speaker. He was an amazing speaker, amazing researcher, up on stage, effectively ridiculing therapists who want to treat patients for 24 visits. And I was like, what? Like, how can that be? And I made the pivot. I was like, yeah, they're right. I need to get them better and discharged in 2 or 3 visits. Now, come full circle. The question is, are you treating the person, or are you working for the insurance company? I do both, and I'm proud to do both. I am more than happy to see an individual for a single visit, tell them one thing to do, and discharge them to improve my insurance metrics. One of the things that Medicare looks at, there's something called a comparative billing report. And they'll take a bunch of your peers, and they'll compare your utilization to other therapists. And I teach this in my course. I'm like, look, you can get this report for free. And when I got audited, my utilization was 3 times higher than 10 of my peers for therapeutic exercise. And that's because I was an exercise-based therapist. Like, everybody gets exercise. But so I got audited. Of course, I passed my audit, but nonetheless, I didn't get a pat on the back or any kind of accolades because I didn't bill a single unit of 97112 during that time. I barely billed any units of 530. I didn't bill any 97116. All of those things fell under gait train or therapeutic exercise for me. They don't care. These are just numbers. They're analytics. You're looking at performance. And I got selected because my utilization was 3 times higher. Doesn't matter that my patients got better. Doesn't matter that somebody else's patients got worse. It's just about the numbers. But you know what? That's okay. I play that game. I'm in that game. I am fine playing that game. But I'm also good with taking a person. Somebody just walked in. He's been a client of mine for over 12 years. We were talking about this the other day. He comes 4 days a week. I've got video clips of other people that are on and off, covered, non-covered, going through all this stuff, that have been with me 15 years. We have long time, lifetime value of a customer, and we have the transactional, here is your therapy, enjoy, I'll see you, if you have another problem. You just have to know what business you're in. Go ahead.
Really quick, this comment here from Scott Embry live, I don't want us to comment on it. I think we should comment on it with Jimmy or another episode where we have more time, because I know you got to jump off, and we do have to hit your social media patient-facing videos, because they're absolutely crushing and blowing up. 4 visits versus 24 visits means you're either a really good PT or a really bad PT. Let's not say anything. I want to cover this when we have more time, because, Scott, thank you for that. I kind of, I don't want to say, I want to jump in so bad. I can't. We'll do it another time. I agree with all that, Tony, what you said. And I want to make sure that we have time to cover the social media posts and the videos that you're doing. And then you got to jump off at what, 9:10, 9:15?
Yeah. So let me pull up a screenshot. I'm going to show you guys this in two ways. I took this screenshot this morning. And for perspective, it's a little hard to see because it's small, but this video, these are reels on my Facebook business page. So the top performing reel right now, I uploaded it November 20th of 2024. It's got 287,000 views. It's reached 179,000 people, and it's got basically 2,500 interactions. My second best performing reel uploaded November 15th, 207,000 views. November 14th, 75,000 views. November 7th. So all of these were uploaded in November. The most recent of this group was December 9th. Today is December 10th. So I uploaded this reel yesterday. It's got 66,000 views effectively. These are insane. I cannot imagine numbers like this. And to bring you guys in, let me see, how do I do this? Here we go. For context. So I didn't even bother putting reels on my business Facebook page. You can see here, this bottom row, this was from October. Once I started uploading, this was from PPS in October, 300 views, 290 views. Then we've got into some stuff for the reactive step trainer, some other devices in the clinic. These are still generally under 500 views. Then we hit 1,000. Halloween.
Whoa, 22K.
Yeah, here's a 22,000 view. And really, I mean, okay, so now we hit 71,000 views, 12,000 views. Like that's 12,000 people that are seeing this, building the page. Here's a 75,000 view. I can't believe. I don't know what happened. I don't know where these metrics are coming from. Just incredible numbers from a Facebook business page. And I only have, so right now this page has 5.3 thousand followers. So 5,000 followers. When this started in October, I had about 2,500 followers. So I doubled followers, and just the views just exploded. Have you ever had luck with Facebook business pages?
No, I need to post more of my videos to Facebook. I have a couple questions and comments. I just want to shoot them at you quickly. So one question would be, again, if you're a practice owner watching or listening somewhere else in the country, they would probably ask some of these questions. So Tony, you got these reels, these short videos. Are they mostly 60 seconds or less?
Yes.
Okay. Do you take the same exact video and you post that on, where else have you posted? On your personal or your business's Instagram and the YouTube channels as shorts, and the same exact video file to this Facebook business page and maybe TikTok or wherever else?
So the short answer is yes. The more interesting answer is, because I've been on YouTube forever, what I did was I went into my YouTube shorts. I arranged by view count. So my highest YouTube short is around 600,000 or 700,000 views. And then what I do is I start taking from YouTube Shorts. I pull the video without the watermark down. I mean, it stays up there, but I get a copy of it. I put it onto Instagram. I put it onto TikTok. I put it onto Facebook. Now, originally, I didn't even know this. If I put it from my phone onto Instagram, it would auto post into my Facebook page. But if I go from my desktop to Instagram, it doesn't auto post to my Facebook page. And so now what I'm starting to do is experiment a little bit. Well, what if I do Instagram to Facebook from my phone, but then separately I do on my desktop, and I do, or native straight to Facebook. I don't have enough data. I can't say if there's any impact with that or not. But the performance you see right there, it's because I would go from my computer to my phone, from my phone to Instagram. Instagram would auto post to Facebook. TikTok, I just got on TikTok a month ago. I did one paid campaign for $8. It got me to 2,000 views on a video, but TikTok is very slow right now. But yeah, same videos, no watermarks. I take them and try to go natively to each platform, including LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, and now Facebook and YouTube.
And what's like the goal or the intention? Like you want to monetize these videos with the like the CPM on those platforms? Because if it were me, and we're kind of at the precipice. I've been doing some video behind the scenes. I have some more things coming out for my practice, but I know that you've posted examples of like, hey, this video made me $200 because I posted it like a year or two ago. What type of therapy code or patient where you helped them 2 years ago and they the $200 or whatever the dollar amount is still kind of trickles in. So I see some of the value. I think I'm still biased on like I would want this media to actually convert into the concierge in-person visits. Again, maybe I'm just too stubborn like that. But what is your goal? What is your intention? Is it to monetize? Is it to point everyone to one of your YouTube channels? Is it to point everyone to Total Therapy Solutions, where some people fly in and drive to you and do in-person visits for Shockwave? Is it more so for the CPMs and you're trying to just get ad dollars from, YouTube ad dollars or what? Well, like, what's the main purpose and goal? Like, why put these videos out everywhere?
Yeah. So I try to let the market tell me what the market wants. I try to be agnostic. It doesn't matter what I want. What are you guys telling me you want? Where is the attention coming from? How can I monetize that attention? So originally on YouTube was paying me for ad placements, a couple $1,000 in a good month, a couple $1,000. I never earned less than like $1,000 a month. But I would also make money on affiliate income. So a product I put on YouTube, they click through to Amazon. So I'd make money on Amazon. Oh, I forgot. I do put my videos on Amazon as well. Now with Facebook. So I'm like, these are people all over the world looking at my Facebook page. They're never going to be patients in my physical therapy clinic, but I've got this attention and I've got to focus on that page right now. So, okay, I'm going to launch a group. I'm going to do a paid group. We're going to focus on total knee replacement. I'll price it somewhere around $30 to $50. I'll probably go to the school platform, SKOOL, because that's kind of the new platform. I had tried it on Thinkific and it didn't work too well for me there. So if I don't have the ability to sell them what I already own, in-person visits, then I'm going to find something I can sell to a national or global community, which is a paid group. January, I'm launching that. I already put out a couple teasers. I already started working on the ad copy and the marketing. The other benefit to building my Facebook business page is, I think you or others would know more than me, I think it might improve the ad copy and the conversion when I do run ads to get people in my clinic to sell Shockwave, Softwave, TRT, to sell the reactive step trainer, and to sell some of the self-pay physical products and stuff that I have in the clinic. So those are my hopes for that. TikTok, I've done really well with Amazon shoppable videos. TikTok has TikTok Shop. I can create product use videos on TikTok once I get approved for that. And I think that would be a great revenue stream through their affiliate income. So it's like each one of these platforms has their own objective and purpose for me. I am totally happy to take money from wherever it's willing to come from if I can fill the need for that particular platform. I haven't figured out what Instagram is good for yet. Maybe paid product endorsement, something like that down the road. But so far, the other platforms, they've got a clear objective, a clear target. I'm building specifically for monetization in those different ways.
Got it. It's kind of fascinating because I think you're probably one of the, I don't want to say you're the only therapist doing this, but it's a small group of folks. Like, because you look at other practices out there that are doing video and all that, like they want patients to come to them, right? Like, Chad Madden in like 2008 or 9 or 10 or whatever, like on YouTube, he was like one of the first physical therapists on YouTube putting out like 3 exercises for herniated disc, 3 exercises, top 3 exercises for spinal stenosis, top 3 exercises for SI joint pain or whatever, or sciatica, whatever it was. And his videos were getting millions of views, and he wasn't trying to be like a digital creator per se. He was doing it to get local or regional patients to come to him. And I feel like that's, I don't know, like that's what I think most of the therapists out there are looking to do.
Yeah, and that's where I started. I was like, okay, YouTube's free. I can put up a video. I'll do these educational videos to try and attract clients locally to my physical therapy clinic. But like anything, when a door opens and there's a new opportunity there, plus I am at the stage where I want to look at the maximum upside potential, maximum downside potential, and make a calculated decision. If I'm talking about patients in my clinic, I'm maxing out. I only have so many hours a day. I only have so many spots available, and there's only so much people are going to pay for that. But if I put up a video that can generate thousands of dollars over an infinite time frame and access a global community, and those 30 seconds will be monetized in perpetuity, that is what I want. The most I lose is 30 seconds of my life. The upside potential is infinite ultimately, and it just continues to open new opportunities.
All right, we're going to wrap up. I did yesterday just finally download CapCut, the app. I previously downloaded the Captions app maybe a couple weeks ago. So we got some video potentially coming out in the near future. Let's do our wrap up. Let's do our parting shots. What do you got?
So I would say, just looking at this, hang on real quick. Steven from, he's in Austin, right? Pilates and
is he Austin? Yeah, Austin. I think I said Louisiana. Maybe he's from, or no, because he likes LSU.
Yeah. All right. He says, I have a few YouTube videos, occipital neuralgia. I know the videos that he's talking about. They're his best performers. How do I take those daily views and monetize it? If it hasn't gotten your channel above the threshold on YouTube, I think you should have a occipital neuralgia course. Jeremy Sutton, he came out yesterday and he was like, Tony, do you have any tens unit videos for, home program? I was like, no, go create one. Just go make one. Steven should take those videos. Yeah, he's in Austin, but from Louisiana. Take those videos and put it into a course. Okay, parting shot. There is an infinite amount of opportunity out there. Take that post from the anonymous member who says, how do I find more patients? You should be chronicling all of these marketing efforts. If you go to a doctor's office, flip on the camera, talk to the community. Hey guys, I'm Tony Meritato here in Middletown, Ohio. I'm about to walk in to Middletown Orthopedic Associates. I'm going to talk to Dr. Albright. I'm super excited. When I'm finished with that, I'll let you know how it goes. If you're going to an event like a 5K or something like that, flip on the camera, do a live, like put yourself in front of the public, the consumer. Most of it will land on deaf ears, but it doesn't matter. At least you're getting reps and you're improving your ability to talk and communicate and convey your message. What do you got, Dave?
Quick comment before my parting shot. You mentioned something about franchising versus licensing. I also want to come back to another episode and talk with you about licensing, because that was the whole Alex Hormozi gym launch. And that's kind of what I guess Joey Albritton and Robbie are doing, because they're trying to follow, I think, the Hormozi gym launch approach. And
they're doing a lot of Hormozi stuff, and they're doing incredible with it. I don't think they're doing a licensing model, but we can find out.
Okay. So parting shot is, if you're going into any type of business, you need to be obsessed. If you're not obsessed, then you may not succeed. There are no guarantees that you're going to succeed. On the video side of things, it's really simple. You go online, you go to YouTube, just follow all of Tony's accounts. Go to Total Therapy Solutions on YouTube, follow his account. Look what he's done. Look at his best performing video. Look at his worst performing video. Look at the most recent videos. Look at how they've changed and improved recently compared to like years ago or when he first uploaded them. I think it makes the most sense to have video try to convert into the highest margin thing. Tony says, hey, maybe the highest margin thing is some virtual thing, or you're creating a course or whatever. And in other cases, it might be some wellness membership or actually in-person visits. So more on that in the coming weeks and months here.
All right, guys, come back and find us Tuesday, Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Dave, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.